Hayes Permar, and Permar on sports here on a Friday with some breaking news.
Yeah, the Minnesota athletic director is resigning.
Now, his name is Norwood Teague, and you may say, well, that's sort of familiar. Norwood Teague was at Virginia Commonwealth, VCU.
Before that,
before
he was
Minnesota.
Yeah, and before he was at VCU, he was an assistant athletic director at UNC.
Right.
So I'm still looking at the story to figure out what the whole story is here. But he is stepping down, which is interesting because a very successful career up until this point.
And there's some allegations, I guess, of some untoward behavior, perhaps.
Yeah, like I said, I still haven't had time to dive into those fully, but I'm checking those out.
But that's
breaking
breaking news in the world of sports.
It does seems like he has resigned. The resigning part seems to be confirmed.
Okay.
We're trying to figure out exactly what for.
And the reason this is interesting because I think as this breaks and we get more facts in it, it's going to be kind of interesting to find out maybe some things that were going on potentially. But let me just make this. I'm not going to blow up the spot. Let me just say one other thing about this, though. He has had success wherever he's gone, obviously.
Yeah.
He's been highly successful. So.
Yep.
Do you think he was writing papers over in... No, I'm kidding. I'm joking.
Well, Minnesota's... look, you don't even have to drag him into the North Carolina stuff. Minnesota's got their own share of academics.
Yeah, they do. You're right about that. We're talking to Hayes Permar. Permar on sports. So football begins this week.
Actual,
all the different camps. Yeah, actual
real
football.
Exhibition football.
And we're excited in Lenoir County because this is the first weekend until the end of February or mid-February, like I think early February, where there's going to be at least one football game, preseason, college, or pro between now and then. And I'm very excited about it.
Everyone in Kinston was posting this on...
Well, we don't have a baseball. We've got to go another summer without a baseball team.
Yeah, so Steelers and Vikings this weekend. Yeah, basically, if you didn't know, last weekend, if you are dying to watch something that counts as professional or college football, NFL, not even Canadian League or Arena, I guess. It's got to be pro. It's got to be NFL or college. If you want that football, last weekend was your last weekend without. This weekend, you will have the Steelers-Vikings in the Hall of Fame game. Again, counts for nothing, meaningless. All they're trying to do is not get hurt. But technically, it is football, and every weekend, fourth, there will be until the Super Bowl.
So the college...
Heck, I don't know. There's probably a college bowl game played after the Super Bowl.
There might be now.
But
college...
at least until the Super Bowl.
College camps starting up, right? And so there's two things. One...
Yeah, so you got your...
I've got a purple on today.
Homer colors on there.
Yeah, there are Homer colors on today. I like that.
I'm going to flip it on you. How are your Pirates going to be this year?
I think the offense could have trouble. They're saying it's not, but I think they're going to have real trouble at first.
Give me a number. Give me a win number.
Oh... I'm very negative when it comes to
you going below 6?
No, I'm not going below 6.
Oh, okay.
6 or 7?
See, that's fine. Bowl game's fine this year, right?
Bowl game's fine this year. Yeah, you gotta. Now, if the guy comes in at quarterback and he turns things up and he really picks it up, 8.
Yeah, and if you feel like you're going into the season with a floor of 6, then that's pretty good.
They play a pretty tough schedule, especially early on because they've got Virginia Tech, BYU, and Florida in their non-conference, and they're not pulling the deal like in West Raleigh where they're playing the Broughton JVs. I mean, they're playing some real teams.
Look at this guy. You put the purple on, and the ECU comes out. I knew he could do it. I knew he could do it.
You even have to admit that schedule that Dave Doran had laid out for him this year is laughable.
I can admit that when I look at the national rankings of these schedules, I often see NC State's name listed among those. Right. But look, I'm with him. Now, it does look bad. You want to arrive a year early, but if they had won, 6 games and barely made a bowl game last year, this schedule would look perfect once again. Until your floor is 6 or 7 games every year, you build that floor by four easy wins. And Duke did that when they were trying to turn around the worst program. And I got no problem with them continuing to play a softer schedule than most do. Wake needs to do it better. Freaking Virginia needs to learn how to do it. Good gosh.
Virginia's got a murderer's row non-conference.
Unbelievable.
It's crazy.
When you've been to 3 bowl games in a row, then start worrying about a big splash opening game and one other non-conference. Until then, you sign up those FCS teams, dude, and you count the wins and then let people talk at the end of the season when you've got 8 or 9 wins. Don't worry about it.
What football activities did Malik Simmons miss in his indefinite suspension, which lasted 2 weeks?
Well, football players are football players around the clock. So,
right.
Look, you can ask me to speak for. You want to be the look? I'm not wearing my Carolina blue.
I didn't accuse you of doing that, but you are the sports expert.
So, yeah, but I'm saying you're asking me to be the mouthpiece of Carolina to ask what.
I'm far from that.
I don't know what football activities he missed. What I mean, like what?
Well, it was the tongue was in cheek because I've got the purple on, so I'm very salty today.
Exactly,
a lot of salt today. But
I'm not going to defend UNC.
But in all honesty, though, doesn't that smack of a little free and loose with the rules?
All right, well, here would be the question.
Yeah.
In a vacuum, if UNC were not into any other allegations, and I'm not saying that's how it should be considered, but let's to determine how egregious it is. That's how I'd look at it. If UNC hadn't had any other problems, they're not still maybe having an NCAA cloud hung over them. They're not, they didn't have an incident last year in camp with where the word hazing was tossed around, whether or not it was correct or not.
The aloft,
right. Yeah. How bad? What would we consider?
In other words, if this was the first thing,
then again, I know it's not. I'm not saying that determines your answer.
Well,
I'm just saying,
let's just say none of these problems. It was just football was a problem, and let's just say everything was going on with football.
All right. Well, here's all I'm saying. What exactly was Malik Simmons? It was he got caught with marijuana.
He got caught with marijuana and then resisting arrest.
All right. Now, okay. The marijuana.
That's what he was charged with.
Marijuana is usually to me on the low end of whether I care about him, but as a football player, especially, that's one of those judgment you deserve to be deemed. To me, that one was worse than the resisting arrest, which I believe I read to be a fight broke out. He wasn't fighting because he's not charged in that part of it.
Yeah, he's not charged.
The cop said freeze, and he ran, probably because he knew he already had the other thing hanging over him.
Yeah.
Somebody caught up with him as resisting arrest.
Okay.
Again, dumb, but again, having the weed is dumber. Running, when they say don't run is dumb. But ultimately, would you have had to miss a game? No, I mean, I'm not going to argue with you. You said, a guy getting popped with weed, I would absolutely have missed a game.
Yeah, maybe.
And actually, he's probably getting off light to not miss a game. But no, I mean, you do this to me every week. You bring me in, and you're like, what about this UNC move that I clearly think is shady? But I'm just going to ask you about in a voice in a way which you can only defend him by the way I'm asking you. I mean, come on. I don't want to do that. I mean, like, look,
you've accused me of having my purple and gold glasses on.
I think they've made mistakes on. Yeah,
this is really raising some eyebrows, and it's kind of interesting. And you may be hearing this for the first time.
Why are you pointing to? No,
because I have it on screen here. Do you remember a guy named Philip Nelson who was the quarterback at Minnesota and transferred to Rutgers? And a couple of years ago, he got in a bar fight and kicked some guy from like an FCS or D2 football team and hurt him badly.
Okay, I don't
was
recall.
Charged, and so Rutgers kicked him out.
Okay, and
he was a pretty decent starting quarterback at Minnesota. I mean, he was okay for a couple of years. He wasn't,
somebody signing him up.
Pirates. He's a walk-on at ECU right now.
And is he expected to get?
I don't. The story does not delve that far into that. You presume he has a couple of years.
Yeah,
but
how old is he?
It doesn't say. He played in 2012, so he's probably ancient. But I don't think it's a Chris Winkie situation. But I mean, here's somebody who had. Now, here's what he was charged with. He was charged with fifth-degree assault, misdemeanor fifth-degree assault. 100 hours of community service, but he never served jail time. So is this an okay story for like we're giving somebody another chance? Maybe he's learned from his mistakes, or is this a bad? Because there's some who are believing this could. Why are we letting this bad apple into the program? Because McNeil will. I mean, he's shown he'll kick guys off the program.
Yeah, no.
For anything.
I have no doubt that. That part of the reason he's getting another chance is because he has talent. Mm-hmm. That happens sometimes. Yeah. You know what I mean? And I don't necessarily have a problem with that. And it's also a case where a lot of times these things happen and people want to make a judgment of, he had this crime or it was a felony or this. No chance, And I'm more of, I wish I knew more about the situation. And in this case, I do. And I know Ruffin McNeil. Yeah. And so it's like you said, like I trust him completely.
He's very fatherly. In a lot of ways.
I trust him completely. If he feels like this guy's a guy who deserves another chance, I trust Ruffin McNeil. And I would bet a lot that Ruff has him on a short lease and has had some talking to him about his behavior and what will or will not constitute, being a team member at ECU. So hopefully this guy will listen and learn from somebody like Ruffin McNeil and stay away from what is it they call the corner? Is it the corner down there? What do they call? What are all
What
the
are
bars?
you talking about?
Where's 519?
Downtown.
Downtown?
Yeah.
There's not a fancier
But it's
name
now
for
Uptown Greenville.
it. Now it's Uptown. Downtown became Uptown.
Yes.
No way.
That's a long story. Are you going to go with me to a game in Greenville this year?
Maybe. How many are you going to?
I don't know yet. A few.
Well, that's going to be tough to pin down. So we'll see. We'll try.
All right. Well, we'll work on that. Hayes Permar. Permar on sports. Permar on sports. Lead pipe. Stone cold lock. Who wins the preseason football game?
Vikings or Steelers. Vikings or Steelers. Vikings or Steelers.
Steelers big offense this year.
Let's go with the Vikings.
Okay. AD could have a big game. Permar on sports. Thank you.
Thank me.